Okay, so we're working with the same problem that we've had before. We have our, let me get rid of this. We got our 3 divs. I took out the script because we don't need it anymore because we're going to be doing the work in this .js, and I have it hooked in here and I have Bootstrap. So the first thing that you need to know is all of jQuery should be wrapped in what we call document.ready. And I know for advanced users, you recognize that I have not got the CDN yet. I'm going to get that in a little bit and show people where to get it. And also the error that you get when you don't have it. So it's just like that. So what you do is document, in quotes, in parentheses, .ready, and then this is a function. So then you do parentheses and then curly braces. This is something that you just memorize. I memorized it. You can understand it if you like. I saved my headroom for something else because I just always know that I need this document ready to work. So what's happening here is, say that we're making HTML for this using jQuery, right? This is telling the page, hey, wait, don't run me until all of this HTML is run and compiled and all this stuff is on the page already. Don't do that. And if you don't do that and you're trying to make something down here or here, for example, it's going to be null because you're saying, hey, make it in this div, for example. Well, that div doesn't exist yet. So this basically halts any JavaScript until the HTML and CSS is made, this document already. So it's saying, hey, when the document is ready, then do this. Notice this $sign. Now, I want to show you what happens when this is run. Inspect it. I got an error. See that right there? This is not defined. That's because the $sign symbol is part of jQuery. We don't have any jQuery yet. So jQuery, you either can download it or work with what's called a CDN. This is a CDN right here. CDN, see right there? So this is the Bootstrap CDN. That stands for Content Delivery Network. I just learned that. So what that's going to do is going to hook us up to Bootstrap. So you just simply type in jQuery into your browser. You see it's already auto-completed more. Do this. I usually just go right to this site right here. This is the main jQuery site. You see, okay, so here is the jQuery, the most recent one. You can get the older ones if you want. I go with the minified one. That one runs a little faster. Click this. Bam. This comes up. So this is the code that we need. So this goes inside your header. Other people put it on the bottom. I like to put it on top. Once again, that's preference. You may do it however you feel like you should. It's up to you. Copy this, make sure I have it. One key note, one note that I would want to say that you need to get recognized is that if you look at this, HTML has this ordering system. So the commands that are closer to the actual object or tag that you're making gets precedent. So but basically you're saying, hey, I want to use jQuery, but in my own code, this takes prior precedent over the jQuery code. So it's best practices to put your jQuery CDN before your own JavaScript. So that's just FYI. So now we can go ahead and save this. So now we have our CDN in there. I'm going to go back here, going to reload the page, and if I've done everything correctly, no errors. See that? So we can go to network and it should pull in wherever it is. Yeah, I'm not going to look for it right now. But it should have pulled it in, and we have it. So we're ready to work with jQuery. All the time, this is basically the symbol that you're going to use to say the $sign, to say, hey, for this line of code or this block level code, run jQuery. So jQuery is nothing more than a JavaScript library. It's just JavaScript code that we could all work with, but it just allows us to do stuff a lot faster. So remember how we had our var first equals, man, I already forgot it. Get, see, I don't even know this anymore because I use jQuery all the time. First, and then what we are going to do is first is equal to hello world. That's what we did before to make this appear. This is how you do it with jQuery, which is a lot more sexier. Once again, $sign to say like, hey, on this line of code on line 6, run jQuery for it. Parentheses. The name of, go away. Yes, I am interested in data analytics. Parentheses, and then the name of whatever we want the selector. So we can do both classes and IDs. I'm going to do ID. So we have to tell the computer whether it's a class or jQuery if it's a class or an ID. And you do that either if it's a class, use the dot notation. So I'll do class row right here. Or you do ID. We're going to do ID, which is hashtag. And we're going to do first. So basically this is a selector. It's saying like, hey, look, I want you to grab this and I want you to store that. So that's what it's doing right here. It's saying, hey, find this, and it's finding it. So we're going to go over here and then you do dot and then whatever you want to do with it. Now we're going to do our same practice with inner HTML. So we're going to do HTML. And then you're going to do parentheses. And then whatever you want to put in there. This could be a variable, this could be a boolean, this can be a string, as you can see here. Hello world. So we're going to go ahead and run this. Bam, look at that. This is the equivalent of writing like this. This gets a lot more in depth. You can do a lot more other things with this. So what you can actually do here is something called append. And what this is going to do is actually going to append to the page rather than get rid of that. See that right there? So we've actually appended it to the page rather than that. And I don't remember if it's called prepend. I think it is. Yes. So basically it's going to put the hello world before I am first, right? So that is called prepend. So there's a lot of different things. Now notice with HTML, you're like saying to the computer, hey, I want anything that's inside of this selector, I want you just to get rid of and place what I want there. So in fact, to get rid of this, the shortcut of this is to do this. See, notice how nothing's now in here? So we're saying like, hey, I just want this empty. You can use something else called .empty, but this works just the same. It's your preference. So hello world. So it's going to remove I am first right here and put hello world in place of it. So that is literally what's happening here, and this is how the basis of jQuery works. It allows this DOM manipulation to happen very easily. So I am saying to the computer, hey, use jQuery. I want you to find this element of the page, so ID, so it's looking through the page, where's ID, where's ID, where's ID, okay, here's an ID, okay, here's first, oh, that's the one he wanted, so I'm going to grab it. And it's going to skip these, obviously, because it's not first. And it says, okay, what do you want me to do to first? Okay, dot, and then it's saying, okay, he wants me to do HTML. HTML says, okay, get rid of anything that's in the div, so I'm going to get rid of this. Alright, so I've removed everything in the div. Now what do you want me to put in there? Oh, he wants me to put hello world. So I put it in there. Once again, just to show you different ways of doing this, you can put strings in there, or you can put variables. It's totally up to you. So say this is a variable. See? Exact same. And to prove that to you, I'll take this out so it's different spelling. See? Hello world. Waldo. So basically you can do both ways work with variables or whatnot. So that is literally what's happening here with this HTML. It's very nice, very handy to use. So I'm going to do some sublime magic, Control-Shift-D. I believe it's Command on Mac. And I can actually then multi-line edit, which is awesome. And this can be second. And this can be third. So we can do our own little messages here. We can do blue, because that's the color that I selected for that. Well, it's light blue, but you get the point. Teal for this one. See, look at that. This is awesome. Now, I hope you can already see what we can do with these type of things. We can do quite a bit with this, because this allows a lot of dynamic stuff to happen to the page. Say, for example, a user has a button, which we'll do later, and if a button is clicked, we change the content here. So it allows you to have less static websites. And I'll show you that later. Now in my websites, when I was first doing these websites, 75 to 90% was HTML, but now with my websites, 90% is like JavaScript, because I don't even write anything in HTML anymore, because I just have my JavaScript do it for me, because I prefer that way. Now I want to show you quickly what happens with the error here. So if I get rid of this, see, nothing happens. I don't know if it's going to throw an error. Let's see. Did not throw an error. Sometimes it will, saying like, hey, this first is null. That's like an error that can happen, but notice that nothing happened. That's what happens when you get rid of document.ready. So all your jQuery should live inside of there. Just FYI. And that's not necessarily the case. It's just that you need to make sure that this does not run until you don't want it to. So like, for example, if I put this inside of a function, right, called change, and I put my jQuery in here, like this, this will not run until I call change. So I can actually put change in here, and it will still work the same. See that? So I don't mean that you need to put all the dollar signs in here. It just needs to. You just need to make sure that when you're using jQuery, that you're waiting for the entire page to load. And you could do that either by putting all the jQuery inside this document.ready, or having functions that call it. So it's your preference. I'm going to stick with this for ease, so we don't have too many things going on the page. So we got that. All right, after this, we're going to go with a little more dynamicness, where we're going to have a button, and we're going to click that button, and then we'll change stuff based on what's going on here. And once again, we're going to use jQuery for that. All right, thank you.